On the 22nd of February 2026, Mexico's most wanted man and the leader of the feared drug cartel was killed during a security operation.
On February 22nd, 2026, the mountains of Tapalpa, Jalisco, did not sleep. Residents would later describe the sound first. Not explosions, not gunfire, but helicopters. Low, heavy, circling. Then came the crack of automatic weapons, then an explosion that lit the ridgeline orange. And then silence.
Mexico's most wanted cartel leader, Nemesio Mencho Oseguera Cervantes, has been killed in a dramatic military operation.
By sunrise, rumors were moving faster than official statements. El Mencho is dead.
In Mexico, the army has confirmed the death of one of the country's most feared drug lords, known as El Mencho, caught and killed in a dawn raid.
No body was shown, no verified forensic confirmation, no clear unified declaration. When the most wanted cartel leader in the Western Hemisphere allegedly dies in a mountain firefight, and no one sees proof, the story doesn't end. It begins.
Mexico is feeling the wrath of a powerful drug cartel after an army operation resulted in the death of its leader. Known as El Mencho, he was one of the most wanted men in both Mexico and the United States. His killing has sparked violence across the country, resulting in dozens of deaths, including several Mexican National Guard troops.
Tonight we examine what likely happened in Tapalpa. Not mythology, not fantasy. Operational reality, medical probability, intelligence strategy, and the power vacuum that followed. Because in modern cartel warfare, truth is often buried deeper than the tunnels beneath a mountain. The evolution of a cartel boss. Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, known as El Mencho, did not rise in the era of flashy narco legends. He rose in the surveillance era. He watched what happened to El Chapo. He studied how digital trails exposed him. He learned from every mistake, and then he adapted. Unlike earlier bosses, no public boasting, no careless communication, frequent relocation, rotating security teams. His organization evolved. The Jalisco New Generation Cartel became something different. Armored vehicles, mounted .50 caliber weapons, explosive drones, rural fighters trained for defense. This wasn't just organized crime anymore. It resembled insurgency, and dismantling an insurgent structure is very different from arresting a kingpin. The weakness. For years, analysts whispered about one vulnerability: kidney failure. Reports suggested El Mencho required dialysis. Now understand what that means. Dialysis is not flexible. It requires equipment, sterile environments, medical staff, consistent scheduling. You can change vehicles. You can avoid phones. You can rotate bodyguards, but you cannot postpone organ failure indefinitely. Medical dependency creates patterns, and intelligence agencies hunt patterns. If authorities shifted strategy from chasing convoys to tracking medical supply anomalies, that changes everything. Instead of hunting a man, they hunted his necessity. And that may be how Tapalpa entered the picture. How a raid really happens. High-value operations rarely rely on one informant. They build slowly. Metadata, financial irregularities, drone observation, movement analysis, geographic cross-checking, 40 small fragments, one strike window, if helicopters were deployed that night. It wasn't guesswork, it was confirmation, and confirmation means preparation. Authorities expected resistance. They got it. The firefight. Witnesses describe a prolonged clash. Multiple helicopters, heavy automatic fire, explosions near structures. If accurate, this was not a temporary hideout. It was fortified. Prepared perimeters, pre-positioned weapons, trained guards. One account claimed a helicopter took serious fire and nearly went down. If that's true, this wasn't a police operation. It was a battlefield scenario. When criminal groups can threaten aircraft, the line between organized crime and insurgency blurs. The fire. Reports mention fuel tanks igniting during the clash. Fire changes everything. It blinds thermal optics, it creates chaos, it forces repositioning, but it also signals collapse. You do not burn your own compound unless holding it is no longer possible. If fire was intentional, it was desperation, and desperation activates contingency plans. The tunnel question. No official confirmation exists, but analysts ask the question anyway. Mountain. Ranches can conceal underground routes. Cartels have used tunnels before, but tunnels require planning, engineering, secrecy, trust. If a tunnel existed, it was not built in panic. It was built years earlier, which suggests something unsettling. He may have expected a siege and prepared for one. The medical collapse theory. If dialysis was interrupted mid-treatment, the consequences are severe. Toxin buildup, fluid overload, electrolyte imbalance, cardiac instability. In remote terrain, under gunfire, hospital-level care would be unlikely. From a medical standpoint, death shortly after interruption is plausible, but only if the illness was advanced, and that severity remains unconfirmed, which leaves uncertainty, and uncertainty fuels narrative. The missing body.
Mexico's most wanted cartel leader, Nemesio Mencho Oseguera Cervantes, has been killed in a dramatic military operation that combined years of intelligence work, US cooperation, and a critical tip linked to one of his romantic partners.
Here is where tension peaks. Historically, governments display proof. They confirm visually. They demonstrate victory. But in this case, no widely distributed forensic confirmation, no global verification. Absence does not prove survival, but absence creates doubt. Two realistic possibilities. The body was never recovered, or death occurred outside official custody. Both plausible, both incomplete, and incomplete stories never stay quiet. Who benefits from silence? Cartels today are networks. Regional commanders operate semi-independently. Operational chains remain functional. If a leader dies suddenly, fragmentation begins. Rivalries, power struggles, violence spikes. But if uncertainty remains, transitions happen quietly. Silence can stabilize. So ask the real question: who benefits from ambiguity, the state or the organization? 3 realistic outcomes. Scenario 1. Medical death during raid, dialysis interrupted, extraction failed, inner circle concealed remains, highly plausible. Scenario 2. Fatal engagement, body unrecoverable due to fire or terrain, no public proof possible, also plausible. Scenario 3. Tactical escape, pre-built contingency activated, temporary disappearance to restructure. Less likely, but not impossible. History has shown high-value fugitives vanish during chaos. Whether he died in Tapalpa or vanished into contingency planning, one fact remains. The organization continues. Operations did not collapse overnight, which reveals something deeper about modern cartel evolution. Decentralized, militarized, adaptable, leadership resilient. Removing a figurehead does not dismantle infrastructure. Modern cartels resemble corporations, and corporations survive leadership transitions. So perhaps the most unsettling conclusion is this: the phantom may not be the man. It may be the system, because systems are much harder to eliminate than individuals. And that may be the true story buried in the mountains of Tapalpa.